I want to talk to you, and we may have to do this in a couple of videos, because I don't like to drag on so long that it just gets boring after a while. And welcome to Is It True News. What we are going to talk about tonight is the war. The real war. The real war is the elites against the people. Doesn't matter where you're at, what country you are in. The elites are at war with the people. And we have to stop them. How are we going to do that? Well, we need to stay focused. We need to unite. And we need to reject what they tell us. Especially in the U.S. when the people have the power. And we've talked about this in videos. And the people need to start exercising their power before we go the way of Germany and Sweden. So, let's take a look at economic issues really briefly. And if you understand electricity, you'll understand economics. They follow the same rules. You just apply the laws of electricity to the rules of economics, and you will completely understand economics. So, in doing that, once you understand that, it's very simple. The elites like to flip the switch. Turn the switch off. As soon as you study everybody's method, every genius method of making money and economics and all this, they'll flip the switch and you'll lose everything that you have. And that's why the average Joe loses at the stock market. Because they see what's going on and they control it. So, money in stocks, just don't do it. IPOs, where you make your money, if you get the right IPOs. But the people really have to take control back. Instead of listening to people like Bill Gates telling you he's going to vaccine you and you're going to be forced to take the vaccine. You say no. Absolutely not. It's ridiculous. You know, we're paying them to kill us. That's how you have to look at things. We are paying them to kill us. Our tax dollars pay for the bullets and the coffins and the FEMA camps. They plan to enslave us. I mean, you have to really break it down and look at it that way and stay focused. You know what inflation really is? It's fraud. It's overvaluing a product so the elites can make more money. And that's the only reason inflation exists. Inflation isn't a real thing. It is there to keep you beat down. So when they talk about inflation, people have got to stop just accepting of inflation. Because inflation is something the elite made up to beat you down and to fill their pockets. It's fraud. It's overvaluing a product. And there is no reason for it. So if bread goes up to $6 a loaf, the loaf is not worth $6. And they say inflation. Inflation is not real. They made it up just to steal from you. And we need to constantly call them out on this. And again, and we mentioned this with interviews with Mickey, and I know I've mentioned it before, is that the Rockefellers, Rothschilds, and the like, they stole your money. 1933 and 1934, they stole your grandparents' gold. The government promised to give it back. And they figured after your grandparents died, they wouldn't hear more about it. But many of us still pressure the government to give it back. because we deserve it. It is our families. It's not fair to let the Jews have everything they want. They say, oh, the Germans stole from us, give it back. And now it's like with their land. Oh, God said it's our land, so give it back. My goodness. The gold was stolen from us. Give it back from our families. And we have to unite on a few things. You know, it's obvious what they're trying to do. They want people not to organize. They don't want you to share your opinion. That's why the attack on YouTube is. It kind of backfired on them. The data gathering, I mean, that comes right from the elites, the Rockefellers, the Rothschilds, etc. They are the ones who paid for it. And unfortunately, the governments, like the big dummies they are, they just allow them to have the information. Which obviously is against the law, but you know, you can't really say you got to put a cap on how much somebody's going to make, or somebody can't get that rich or whatever. But they shouldn't be allowed to steal, and they must be made to repay it back. Now, the crimes that these families have committed, you know, they're worse than any mafia. They're worse than Al Capone. They're worse than the Gambini family. They are worse than the devil himself. And we have to understand and keep focus of what they're doing. They want us to turn on each other. You know, they couldn't get a race war going. Now they want the South and the North to start fighting. They want us to keep continuing looking at things that don't really matter. They do matter. I mean, erasing history really does matter. But prioritize what you're going to go out and scream about. Healthcare. We have to take it out of the government's hand. They cannot control your health. Then they control everything about you and your children. So, people really need to prioritize their emotions in what they go out and march about, protest about, or write letters about. I mean, you just sink your energy into what's going to make the family unit stronger. What's going to make you stronger as a person? What's going to make you healthier as a person? Well, number one, get rid of the chemtrails. And we should be marching in the streets. Millions of us should be on the streets. Not only do we stop them, we insist everybody from funding the research to executing the chemtrails are arrested. And I'm going to end with this because this has to be done in several parts. The Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, Oppenheimers, Gates. First of all, in my opinion, and by everything that is judged good against what they do, they don't deserve to live. They really don't. If I was a special forces person, I was trained in special forces, I was young, boy, let's just say, I take what plans that they had for us and use them against them. I do that to them. But their assets, their land, their assets, their money, all needs to be frozen and confiscated, given back to the people, given to countries like Ukraine, where the U.S. invaded and destroyed and murdered a bunch of people. And we have to stop the elites from the genocide they're creating across the planet. And we cannot be caught up in this bullshit with North Korea. It is to take your eyes off of yourself and God. It takes your eyes off of you, your health, what's important, and keeps you in the state of fear. So start rethinking about what we need to do and how we are going to unite. That's the only thing that matters.